Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Ayo, not exactly the same thing, but it still counts. Let's go.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a woke communist TikToker who is claiming that as a black person, not wanting to be around white people is totally fine and okay because it is justified based off how white people have treated black people in the past, right? This is what he's saying. But white people have no justification, right, for not wanting to be around black people. And if they don't want to be around black people, then it comes from a place of racism. So I want to respond to this because I can't stand the double standard that the race hustlers in our society put on white and black people in regards to who's allowed to be racist and who's not allowed to be racist, who's allowed to engage in certain behaviors, who's not allowed to engage in certain behaviors, who's allowed to discriminate and who's not allowed to discriminate. I think it's silly, right? And that's why I want to respond to this. So without further ado, let's roll the clip.
Yes, they think anyone who doesn't suckle at Trump's dang-a-lang is a liberal. Even though I have a literal communist flag as my profile picture, and it literally says in my bio that I'm a communist. But anybody who doesn't, walk on Trump is a liberal.
For people who like to pass yourselves off as superior in every way, you sure do get incredibly offended and booty hurt when black people say that they don't want to be around you. Black people not wanting to be around white folks has historical precedence. And the only thing it does is hurt your fragile ego. White people, on the other hand, not wanting to be around black people is racist. Because the only reason that white people don't want to be around black people is because of stereotypes that they invented to make black people seem more dangerous or hypersexualized. Or simply because they don't like the color of our skin. You remember that scene in Pocahontas?
These white men are dangerous.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Now, I want to be clear about my position on this, how I actually feel about this. Because I personally don't care if a white person says, hey, I don't want to be around black people, okay? And I don't care if black people say I don't want to be around white people. I'm not a person that's pro forcing people to integrate if they don't want to integrate, right? Like if you don't want to be around certain people, you don't want to interact with certain people, for whatever reason, I'm not going to force you to do that, right? I'm not going to call you names or say that you're racist because you don't want to do that, okay? If a white man says, hey, I don't want to be around you blacks, right? You Negroes. If they say that, I'm like, okay, that's your right, right? That's your prerogative. If a black person says, hey, I don't want to be around you whites, okay, I don't like you for whatever reason, I'm like, okay, you can do that. My biggest issue is the double standard here that is being presented, that the woke race hustlers put out there, where if a white person says that, then they're racist. But if a black person says this, it's totally fine, right? This is how you have groups in Congress like the Congressional Black Caucus, where it's totally fine to have an all-black group, but if there was a congressional white caucus, they would say that, well, that's racist, right? That's a racist group. That's what they try to say about the Freedom Caucus, which to me is ridiculous. I don't like that double standard. I'm for everybody being able to segregate themselves if they want to, and not be called racist, or if we're gonna force integration, then everybody should be forced to be integrated. There should be no all white groups or all black groups. I'm just saying either or. Okay, I don't care either way, right? Whatever society wants to do on that issue, I am neutral on it, right? Because I understand both arguments. But I'm just saying you got to pick one. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that it is racist if a white person doesn't want to be around black people, but it's not racist if a black person doesn't want to be around white people. You can't have it that way. You can't say that, because there are actual legitimate reasons why white people don't want to be around black people, or may feel like they don't want to be around black people. And it's not based off made up stereotypes. It's based off actual facts and statistics in regards to crime. Okay, I know that that's a controversial thing to say, that black people, particularly black men, commit 50% of the murders. They say you're racist if you say a simple fact, but that is the fact, right? And if you do understand that statistic, then you might say, hey, maybe I don't want to be around those people. Now, again, I don't necessarily agree with the logic, and the reason why is because most likely somebody who commits a violent crime against you is going to be somebody of your race for the most part. I think it varies with Asian people, right? It actually might be black people might actually be more likely to commit acts of violence against Asians than Asians committing acts of violence against Asians. I think that kind of varies, right? But I'm just saying, for the most part, all other races, if somebody commits an act of violence or crime against you, it's most likely going to be your own race. But regardless, if you understand just simple crime statistics, there is legitimate reasons why a white person would say, hey, I don't want to be around black people for whatever reason. Now, you can call it stereotype, you can say it's racist, you can say whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't blame anybody who uses that, that logic, even though I don't agree with it. I don't blame people who feel that way. I really don't. Because again, if that's not legitimate, then how can it be legitimate for you to say, well, it's okay for black people to say they don't want to be around white people because of white supremacy, right? That to me, again, makes less sense than the actual, logic behind white people saying, I don't want to be around black people because of crime, right? The whole white supremacy thing, I don't think is really adversely or negatively affecting black people as much as these race hustlers make it out to be. I think crime has much more of a negative effect on blacks and whites than so-called white supremacy. But again, all this is just another double standard where, these people want special rights and privileges. They don't want equal rights. They don't want to be treated equally. They don't want to be equal to white people. They want special rights and privileges. They want to be superior. They want power and control. That's what this is all about. And this is why they play these games with language so much. This is why they try to stop white people from being able to say certain things or be able to do certain things that others are able to do and able to say. It's because they want power and control. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. But again, in my opinion, I'm sick and tired of these people trying to have their cake and eat it too. No, if black people are allowed to do something, white people should be allowed to do it too. Again, apparently it's controversial in 2022 to actually really believe in equal rights, right? I want to truly treat everybody equally. I don't want to see anybody as inferior or superior to somebody else because of what happened in the past. I want everybody to be on the same playing field, a level playing field in regards to what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So again, if you're going to have all black groups, hey, I don't care about having all white groups. Now, if you're saying it's not okay to have all white groups, then hey, it's not okay to have all black groups. I'm just saying, pick one, right? Pick one. Either one, I'm neutral, but pick one. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's the problem. That's the problem. So again, if it's racist for white people to say, I don't want to hang around blacks, then okay, it's racist for black people to say, I don't want to hang around whites. That's it, right? Both are racist if that's what you want to go with. But me personally, I don't think it's racist if people say they don't want to hang around other people that don't look like them. That's their prerogative. That's what they want to do in their life. I'm not going to sit here and try to control that. The same reason I don't try to control people and who they date. When somebody says, look, I only want to date people that are in my race that look like me or whatever, I'm totally fine with that. I don't care if it's white, black, whoever. But again, what they say is that it's not okay for white people to say, hey, I only want to date whites. You're racist. But if a black person says I only want to date blacks, and that's black love, right? That's black love. Okay. That's being, down for the team. That is, great. Okay. Because you're producing black babies. But when white people say, hey, I'm worried about the white population. I want to preserve the white population. I want to just mate with whites. Nah, you can't do that, right? You can't do that. Well, why are they saying you can't do that? It's because the end goal is for them to accumulate power. They're like, no. You have to mate with somebody that's not white, so that way you create mixed babies, right? And therefore, they'll be considered, black or whatever mixed. And then, there'll be less whites, right? There'll be less purebred, thorough whites, right? I'm just saying, I personally don't believe in judging people who simply want to deal with people who they feel like are a part of their own culture or of their own race. I don't care that much about that, right? Now, I'm against discrimination when it comes to jobs, okay? I'm against discrimination when it comes to the government. I'm against discrimination when it comes to those things. But when it comes to who you want to deal with in your personal life, you can discriminate as much as you want. I don't care, and I don't think you should be judged for it, okay? And again, I'm tired of this double standard that they're putting on people where, everybody else, right, non-whites are allowed to be as racist as they want, but white people can't be racist at all, right? I just don't like that because it's not equal, right? That's not equality, right? That's not equality. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.